Boldwood presents Ruthless Love, written by Laura Carter and read by Gemma Lawrence. Chapter 1. Gusting wind pushes me through the revolving glass door into one of London's glossiest high-rise buildings and the home of Saunders, Taylor and Chamberlain LLP, my firm. Running a hand through my now tattered long brown hair, I ride the lift to the 10th floor. Removing my black Mac somewhat awkwardly whilst holding my laptop case and handbag, I step out onto the grey carpet of the glass and chrome-lined corridor. "Good morning, Scarlett." I smile back at my new secretary as she flashes blinding white teeth and adjusts the tortoiseshell glasses on the end of her nose. "Good morning, Margaret. It's horrid out there. Would you like coffee?" she asks as I make my way along the corridor to my office. "Please. You better get one for Jack too. We have a 9:30 in his office." "I'll bring them through." I hang up my coat, dump my bags on my desk, and set my laptop in its dock, lighting up my computer screen. "Oh, Margaret," I call, popping my head around the office door. "Thank you." I perch myself in my desk chair and wait for Outlook to load, casting my eyes around what's my humble abode for 70 hours a week, give or take. It's a small office, but more than big enough for one. Most lawyers below partner level have to share, but my previous roomie fell pregnant and decided to leave the unsociable hours behind her. So now, I have my own space, with a modest L-shaped wooden desk, walls lined with law texts and legislation, and a small coffee table where Cynthia's desk used to be. My inbox loads 97 emails from Sunday alone. How dare I go a day without checking in? I work through the backlog, shuffling the emails into various sub-inboxes and flagging them in order of priority. I have just enough time to read one or two urgent messages before my meeting with Jack. In anticipation of him being more grouchy than usual, I've worn my most professional trouser suit to work today. Jack is the kind of man a young woman can handle better in trousers. He's been on holiday for a fortnight, and if the rumours are to be believed, his current wife has found out about his latest affair. Boys and their toys, lawyers and their secretaries. I humour myself. Here's the thing. Being a lawyer in London isn't like being a lawyer in the United States, or at least the perception of lawyers perpetuated by shows like Suits and LA Law. In England, you study for 4 years and you train on the job for 2, so there's less study time than in the US. Maybe that's why we aren't able to turn our hand to criminal law 1 minute and float a company on the Dow Jones the next. We specialise in one area, and I chose to specialise in corporate mergers and acquisitions, M&A. Basically, my clients buy and sell companies and occasionally float them on the stock exchange. Another difference is that we're paid a lot less than Manhattan's hotshot attorneys. Enough to mingle with the middle classes, sure, but our pay per hour doesn't dazzle in the same way. What's not fiction is that we have to be turned out well. Not quite so glamorous as on American television, but dressed and blow-dried in a way that lets the client know he's paying over the odds for a package. Not only is he buying into someone educated, but also someone slick who knows how to get the job done, or at least looks like they do. Nevertheless, the sad truth is, the men I work with don't look like Harvey Specter or behave as gentlemanly as Mr. Darcy and Bridget Jones. They look and act like Jack. "Scarlett!" he yells from his adjacent office. I jump, crushing my knee off the underside of my desk. Cantankerous arse! It is only 9:29. Picking up my laptop, I walk with purpose to his office. He joined the firm just over a year ago and took me under his discourteous wing immediately. At that stage, I was just under 2 years qualified. I'd have tried to move on from his hold by now, but he put me forward early for a promotion to senior associate, so, despite too often working through gritted teeth, I endure him. Good holiday, Jack? I ask nonchalantly and instantly cringe. He glares at me from the leather chair behind his desk. Do I attempt to rectify the situation? I choose to sit. Where are we with the Portman deal? He snaps, almost spitting through his whiskey and nicotine-stained moustache. We pulled an all-nighter on Friday. I got both companies in the office. It got a little tense, but we battled out the final points and signed in the early hours. I'll set to work on the condition precedents today. The money should transfer today too. How much did they take in the end? He asks, doing his best to hide the fact he's actually impressed with my work. Jack has been working on this deal almost since the day he arrived at the firm, and each time he's tried to close it, the proverbial shit has hit the fan. 260 million on completion, and with the earnout, it could rise to around 300. He leans back in his chair, his belly pulling his shirt so tight that I can see the flesh and grey stomach hairs escaping through one of the gaps. Project Amber? He asks. We've completed our first round of due diligence, and I intend to email our queries to the other side today. You haven't done that yet? Jack snaps. No, Jack, I've been too busy picking up your emails and dealing with all the other shit you left me to manage. I'll get to it first thing, I say meekly. We go through each deal, 11 in total, in much the same stagnated manner. I'm grateful for the momentary distraction when Margaret delivers 2 coffees, a fleeting breather from what's otherwise an intense grilling. That's all, Jack eventually says. I practically run to his office door. Scarlett, he calls as I reach for the handle. Your interest in my personal life is noted. He glares at me, his dark eyes wide, unreadable. Shuddering, I step into the corridor and pull the door shut behind me. Back at my desk, my email count has risen by 8. I hone in on the one from my best friend, who is incidentally also my colleague. To Heath Scarlett, from Darling Amanda. Sent Monday 6th of October 2025, 9:48. Subject, Old Coot. Why is he shouting at you today? He can't be sexually frustrated. I smile to suppress a laugh. To Darling Amanda, from Heath Scarlett. Sent Monday 6th of October 2025, 10:16. Subject, Old Coot. Shh, you can't say things like that on your work email. You know how it is. Partner versus associate, puppet master versus puppet on a string. What he says goes. To Heath Scarlett, from Darling Amanda. Sent Monday 6th of October 2025, 10:18. Subject, Old Coot. Don't worry, one day it will be us calling the shots. Post-weekend pick-me-up drink after work. To Darling Amanda, from Heath Scarlett. Sent Monday 6th of October 2025, 10:19. Subject, Old Coot. On a Monday? Tut-tut. Would love to, but I really can't tonight, sorry. Maybe next week? To Heath Scarlett, from Darling Amanda. Sent Monday 6th of October 2025, 10:41. Subject, Old Coot. Next week. I'll hold you to it. I set to work on the long list of tasks that Jack and I discussed. Soon I'm immersed in my work, and it takes my stomach rumbling to make me realise that lunchtime has come and gone. I brought you a latte and a bun, Scarlett. You should eat something. Margaret has an uncanny ability to read my thoughts. She might be new to me, but she's done this job for years now, so she's used to looking after her fee earners, and I'm thrilled her last one retired. You're a star, I say, taking the food. She rolls her eyes in a way that suggests my compliment is undeserved, but I know she likes to hear my appreciation. I'm slowly getting used to having a secretary to myself. My previous was a share with Amanda, but a perk of my promotion to senior associate is that I get my own. I suppose I have Jack to thank for that. Scarlett? My arms jerk midway between the desk and my mouth, spilling salad from my sandwich onto my keyboard. Summoning my best faux smile, I step into his office, still clearing bread from my back teeth. Jack? The faintest smell of stale alcohol drifts past my nose. It's a little after 3:30, but Jack would be sitting in near darkness if it wasn't for the cadmium green lamp illuminating the documents on his desk. We've got a new deal. A big one. I need you to clear the decks. Get Amanda and that boy, what's his name? You know the one, to take some work off you and give everything you can to, what's her name? He demands. Doug and Margaret. What? He jerks his head up from his desk to look at me. His eyes are fierce. Her name is Margaret, I whisper. Ignoring my remark, he gives me instructions to prepare for a meeting at 8:30 tomorrow morning. And Scarlett? Yes? This is a big deal. You can't fuck it up. You can't fuck it up. You? I know how the game works, and I know that there are years of this ahead of me, but I'm still furious. The fact is, dwelling takes time, and time is what I just don't have. Margaret pops her head into my office before she leaves for the evening. Can I get you anything before I go? Absolutely not. Go home, Margaret. Thank you for your help today. There was a lot to do. It's my pleasure. Good night, then. Don't let him keep you too late now, will you? Never, I say with a smile. Switching on my lamp, I continue my preparations for tomorrow, looking through the history of our potential new client. Annual accounts, the nature of the company's goods and services, its key customers and suppliers, making sure that I'll be ready to answer any question they might ask. Stiletto heels click the corridor floor, the volume increasing as they near my office, the overhead sensor lights reacting to the movement. From the sound alone, I know Amanda's strut. She appears at my desk, looking as fabulous as ever in her tightest forest green dress. She's tall and has the kind of curves women would kill for. Her red hair is bouncing, as if she's just touched up her blow-dry in the ladies. Sure you won't come for a drink? There's a group now. I really must get home. I promise I'll make it up to her next time and tell her to have a good night. Then, as soon as I hear Jack leave, I pack up my desk and take everything home that I'll need for the meeting tomorrow. Cold air strikes me as I step into the night. It's close to freezing, the chill feeling more like winter than autumn. I button up my Mac and fasten the buckle around my collar. Scarlett? Jack's voice is hoarse. Can I drive you home? He drops the butt of his cigarette to the ground and stumps it out with the heel of his black crocodile skin shoe. He has the same prowling look in his eyes as earlier. I'm fine, thank you. I'm only a few stops on the tube. It's quicker than driving. I managed to force my lips to turn up. Plus, I'm out of your way. I don't mind going out of my way for you, Scarlett, he says. His voice is low and doesn't sound like him. A shiver runs the length of my spine. Shall I meet you there in the morning? I ask to change the subject. He nods and uses his upper back to push away from the wall that's been propping him up. He crosses the road towards the car park, and I finally breathe out. Chapter 2. My phone alarm begins with soft, calming music. As it grows louder, I fumble around, grabbing it from my bedside table. Just as the buzzer kicks in, I press dismiss. 6:30. I drag myself to the shower and clean up under the warm, soothing water. Just before I get out, I turn the water to freezing and put my face directly under the spray. Finally, my eyes feel fully open. I dry my long hair into soft curls at the bottom and put on a small amount of eye makeup and blush. After tucking my blouse into my black pencil skirt, I put my patent heels in my handbag and slip on my flats. It's a couple of degrees warmer outside today than it's been for the past week or so, and I'm hot when I get off the tube. The sun is seeping into my pale skin, making me regret my choice of charcoal silk beneath my Mackin suit. The air is muggy, and cars beep as I fight the traffic to cross the road with a handful of other suits, all rushing about their business. It's one of the things people either love or hate about London: the fast pace, the congestion, the smog that can't escape the high-rise buildings. I love it. Making a quick stop at a coffee chain, I drain a cool sparkling water and change into my heels before meeting Jack. In response to my greeting, he grunts and offers me an ill-humoured nod as he haphazardly finishes dressing in the street, adjusting the knot of his red tie and tucking the tails of his shirt further into his trousers. My quick assessment of Jack confirms that he's carrying nothing. This is going to be on me again. It's 8:25 and I have little time to brief him on my research, which means he'll expect me to dig him out of a hole when questions are asked. He smells of booze and cigarettes, a subtle stench that no longer surprises me. For a moment, I feel sorry for him. Perhaps his wife leaving has hurt this time. My sympathy is fleeting. We walk in relative silence to the company's office. I offer a few important details as to the internet and technology work of our potential new client, but I'm not sure Jack absorbs much, if anything at all. We step through the glass revolving door and into the lobby, where my heels are loud against the marble floor, a sound that's not lost despite the high ceilings of the atrium. A huge GJR tower plaque sits on the wall to the side of the front desk. Scrolling through the list of 28 floors, most of which are some variation of GJR companies, I see Eclectic Technologies listed on 27. I'm hot and bothered by the time we reach our destination, the lift literally having stopped at every floor on the way up. My nerves build. Do not fuck this up. Mr. Jones, Miss Heath. A tall, aspirationally polished blonde woman steps towards us from behind her Eclectic Technologies reception desk. Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Williams will be with you very shortly. I'll take you through to the boardroom. Jack and I follow obligingly along the glass-paned corridor. Mahogany wood doors occasionally break the otherwise clear view of the blue sky. Can I get you a drink while you wait? The impeccable could-be model asks. Coffee, black, 2 sugars. Jack's words are stern, his eyes assessing the long legs in front of him, their insane length accentuated by 4-inch heels. I suppress my desire to vomit in response to Jack's seedy demeanour. A cold water would be fantastic, please. I can't bear to make small talk, so I open my laptop and spread my printed research and handwritten notes around my place at the board table in silence. When I'm done, I distract myself with the view across London and the Thames, rather than taking a seat. Ready for this, Heath? Jack asks. Irritation betrays my attempt to maintain a neutral tone, my increasing stress levels not assisting my ability to withstand his annoyingly casual attitude. To be honest, Jack, I would probably feel more comfortable if I knew more about this deal and what you're expecting of me today. His silence tells me I've startled him. Eclectic Technologies want to use us for a new acquisition, he finally snaps. That's what you do, Scarlett, isn't it? Acquisition? He's angrier than reasonable or necessary. I nod. I haven't told you anything because the deal is still highly confidential. I don't know everything. They'll expect us to sign a non-disclosure agreement before they tell us more. He sits up and straightens the lapels of his blazer, suddenly businesslike, professional. Some of my tension fades. You just make sure you can flatter their egos and know their work. I'll seal the deal. I can do that. This is a big deal for us, Scarlett. You won't let me down, will you? He steps closer, leaning in as he speaks. My body responds, instinctively taking a step back. My discomfort only dissipates when the receptionist returns with our drinks. "Won't be much longer," she says, glancing up at Jack through her eyelashes. Jack mutters something under his breath that I suspect I don't want to hear. How do women find this man attractive? It isn't long before she's back, struggling to totter one foot in front of the other in her over-tight pencil skirt. "Mr. Jones, Miss Heath, this is Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Williams." Jack and I step towards the door. I shake their hands, consciously making my grip firm but not overbearing. Mr. Lawrence has warm hands. His face is soft, but his manner professional. He reminds me in some ways of my dad, although a slightly younger version. I imagine he has two personalities, Mr. Lawrence the businessman and Mr. Lawrence the teddy bear. Mr. Williams smiles as he takes my hand, but his fingers squeeze mine uncomfortably. He must be over 6 feet. His broad shoulders, sea blue eyes and dirty blonde hair make him look like a surfer trapped in a grey checkered suit. Jack is right. The first thing we do is sign non-disclosure agreements. Once the formalities are complete, I breathe easier and the mood in the room seems to lighten. I'm excited, ready to get going and hear about the new deal. It must be big, the way they're dramatising the meeting. "We must apologise," Mr. Lawrence begins. "Our CEO is tied up on a call at the moment. He's the driver behind deals of this size, and he'll be the one to fill in the blanks for you." Oh, my excitement wanes. "He'll join us if he can," Mr. Lawrence continues, as if reading my mind. "In the meantime, he's delegated to us to decide whether you're the firm for the job." He pauses for a sip of water. "I know it's difficult to give quotes without much information, but our main criteria is that we need to know we've got the best team. The rest we can negotiate." The room falls deathly silent, and it becomes clear that Jack isn't going to pick this up. Taking a subtle breath, I rise from my seat and distribute a rushed capability statement I put together last night. "Gentlemen, I can assure you that we are the right team for you," I begin, with my most winning grin. "If, or should I say when, you decide to go with us, Mr. Jones and I will be your lead contacts." I turn from the table and move in front of the vast window, making myself appear much taller and confident than I feel inside, a trick I read in a book called Climbing the Ladder. Excitement starts to build in me again with the thrill of pitching. As you'll see from our capability statement, Mr. Jones has a wealth of experience in the M&A market. I somehow manage to summon a smile that says, "I'm so incredibly proud to work for this brilliant man," and quickly glance back to Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Williams to avoid registering Jack's reaction. Mr. Jones has worked on some remarkable deals, and as a team, we have particular strength in the technology sector. Words leave my mouth almost instantaneously with my thoughts as I work the room, maintaining enough eye contact to be sincere, but not so much I appear arrogant or intimidating. Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Williams are responding well to my pitch. They've relaxed a little. Mr. Williams unbuttons his blazer and leans back in his leather chair. The boardroom door opens, the same receptionist interrupting me. I want to scream, "What? I'm on a roll here." "Mr. Ryans for you," she says, stepping into the room and holding the door open wider to let the CEO enter. My torso constricts, pushing the air from my body. My stomach flips, and acrobats perform in my lower abdomen. Mr. Ryan's navy suit lines his tall, broad but athletic body, resting perfectly on top of his crisp white shirt and matching blue silk tie. His dark hair shines in the sunlight that bursts through the office window. He's clean-shaven, but I can't help imagining his face with a faint line of stubble, his off-duty look. He's younger than I could have possibly imagined. He can't be over 30. yet the air around him oozes confidence and power. His entrance silences the room. I'm vaguely aware that my lips are parted, my jaw dropped loose. His eyes fall on me, the centre of attention, illuminated in front of the window. They lure me in, as if pulling on a rope tied tight around my waist. He pauses, probably to allow me to gain some composure. I'm suddenly extremely nervous again, and my heart starts pounding in my chest. Breathe, a voice in my head calls. I take a deep breath and begin to return to my point of equilibrium. Mustering a polite smile, I step towards him, my legs weightless. You must be Miss Heath, he says, very matter of fact. My cheeks flush under the heat of his dark brown irises, rich and intense like espresso, as he holds out his hand, staring into my eyes. I return his handshake and greet him professionally, hiding the fireworks exploding from every nerve ending in my body. He turns his attention to Jack, greeting him in a voice decorated with just a hint of South African accent. The interruption gives me time to get back into the zone. Do not fuck this up. I give a brief overview of my pitch so far, partly for the benefit of Mr. Ryans, mostly to recenter my thoughts. I continue where I left off, but my nerves catch every time I glance at the CEO. I resolve to look anywhere other than at him, but his gaze burns through me as he listens intently to what I have to say. He maintains a poker expression until the pitch concludes. Jack gives my knee a subtle nip when I take my seat back at the table. I know he means to tell me I did a good job, but I'm uncomfortable and unable to hide my flinch. I glance at Mr. Ryans, who's looking at me without giving any indication of his thoughts. He leans back in his seat and folds his hands into one another, placing one index finger on his bottom lip. As if taking a signal, Mr. Williams glances from his CEO to me, and then to Jack before he says, Miss Heath, Mr. Jones, we'd like to work with you on this deal. Whoop! I mentally high-five myself. Outwardly, I nod at the three men on the other side of the table. It would be both a tad uncouth and massively uncool to actually pat myself on the back or do a little twerk. You've made a good decision, gentlemen, Jack says assuredly. The CEO shuffles and takes his phone from the inside pocket of his perfectly tailored jacket. Excuse me, he says, inclining his head to the phone and exiting the room. Ryans? He snaps into the receiver as the door closes behind him. Mr. Williams leans forwards, bracing his palms on the table. Mr. Ryans has a lot to do today, some of which was unexpected, so we apologise. He'll brief you fully in relation to the deal at a later date. I think I detect anxiety in his voice. It was a pleasure to meet you both, Mr. Lawrence adds as we rise from the table and politely shake hands. We make idle chit-chat as the four of us walk towards the lift. Stepping in, Jack and I turn to face the doors, my laptop and documents clutched to my chest. Just before the metal doors draw, Mr. Williams calls to me. Good pitch, Miss Heath. He flashes a smile I would have never expected, forcing me to beam back at him. I'm on a high. I know I did well. I love my job. He's right, Jack says, his voice a low rumble. The muscles in my body tighten in wary anticipation. You did well. My body relaxes when I realise he's not going to touch me or say anything more. I'm in the mood for a celebratory drink when I get back to the office. I fire up my computer and email Amanda. To Darling Amanda, from Heath Scarlett. Sent Tuesday 7th of October 2025, 10:48. Subject, rain check. How about that drink tonight? To Heath Scarlett, from Darling Amanda. Sent Tuesday 7th of October 2025, 10:48. Subject, rain check. 6 p.m, on the button, no excuses. Leaning back in my desk chair, I let my mind wander to Mr. Ryans, perfect CEO. Those exquisite brown pools, his slicked hair begging to be pulled, his large olive-skinned, manicured hands. It's been a long time since a man has touched me. In fact, I'm not sure I've ever been touched by a man. Boys, fumbling and stuttering, yes, but Mr. Ryans looked like he'd know exactly how and where to touch a woman. "Scarlett," Margaret whispers as she steps into my office, "Jack has a call, and he'd like you to join in his office." "Thank you. Do you know who it is?" Mr. Ryans, I believe." An electric pulse courses through my body just hearing his name. Forget it. I pick up a notepad and head into Jack's office. Jack places the call on mute on his screen so that Mr. Ryans, and no doubt Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Williams, can't hear our exchange. "Eclectic is ready to give us details of the acquisition," Jack barks. "They specifically requested that you were on the call. They must be looking to have it done on the cheap." His words are bitter, and I know it's because of his targets. At Saunders, we have targets for everything. Hours spent working on client matters, time spent in the office, the value of work billed to clients, the recovery rate of each invoice. If something can be expressed in numbers, Saunders will have a target for it. If I do the work for Eclectic, I get to put down my hours spent, and I get to bill my time, and every hour I work on the deal means an hour Jack loses towards his own figures. In truth, I don't care much about Jack's targets, or Jack for that matter, and I'm still reeling with delight from winning the pitch. I'm not sure anyone loves their job all day every day, but the rush of closing a deal or winning a client more than makes up for the bad times. Jack clicks unmute. "Good afternoon, gentlemen," I say. "Good afternoon, Miss Heath," Mr. Lawrence calls. "Lawrence, Williams and Ryans here." His voice is matter-of-fact and professional, without losing the soft tone he had when we met this morning. I imagine him sitting with his hands cupped and resting across his belly as he speaks. "Miss Heath?" the others say simultaneously. Mr. Ryans begins to talk about Eclectic Technologies, mostly offering information I've already gathered from my research, but his enthusiasm is infectious, seemingly uncharacteristic of the taciturn and controlled man I witnessed this morning. His mood shifts when he begins to talk about Sea People International, the company he wishes to take over, and I have to wonder why he wants to buy a business he seems to resent. I remind myself that I know very little about Mr. Ryans. Sea People runs a new social network site for travellers. The site is designed to make it easier for people to travel the world and stay in contact with friends and family. It gives them the opportunity to share experiences and has forums to provide tips to fellow travellers on the best places to visit in countries around the world. In all, it sounds like an interesting tool, if lacking a completely fresh take. I'm sure I would have used it if I'd ever ventured beyond Europe with my dad or on business trips to clients. I subconsciously make a note to ask Amanda if she's ever come across it when she's been travelling abroad. "I want to buy it, take it to pieces, and sell it to the highest bidder." Mr. Ryan's sharp words interrupt my thoughts. "Well, subject to Jack's, Mr. Jones's thoughts." I cautiously eye Jack, seeking permission to speak, but he seems happy for me to go ahead. "I think much of the due diligence will need to be carried out on the intellectual property in the company. I'm assuming the social network site is the company's main venture." "It is," Mr. Williams adds. "Okay, then we'll obviously review the incorporation and constitutional documents and pull together details of the intellectual property and any other assets. There'll be some questions it'll be easier to ask of the seller, such as, Full due diligence won't be necessary. Mr. Ryans cuts me off again. Find out what you can and tell me what needs to be done from a legal point of view. There's a very pressing timescale on this. I completely take that on board, Mr. Ryans, but for the protection of you and Eclectic Technologies, I think... Miss Heath, I'll have my people look into any matters that concern me. All I need you to do is deal with the logistics from a legal perspective. Understood? She's got it. Jack bites. Of course, I say shyly, under attack from all angles. There'll be requirements on Sea People's part as the seller to make sure the sale is carried out legitimately. I'll pull together all of the information I have access to, and I'll start drafting documentation for Jack to review. There's silence on the line, and I wonder what's happening in the Eclectic Technologies boardroom. Thank you, Miss Heath, Williams eventually says. The line goes silent again. Miss Heath? Perhaps he thinks I could have left the room, owing to their unnecessary and frankly rather rude time delay. Yes? My voice has lost all conviction. We'd be grateful if you would carry out as much work as possible on this. Mr. Jones, please supervise where necessary, but for reason of, costs, we would like Miss Heath to complete the majority of the work. Of course, Jack and I chorus in harmony. Miss Heath, Mr. Jones. The line falls dead, and I watch Jack, waiting for his backlash. But it doesn't come, and I guess he's thinking we'll take any crap they throw at us because the money is good. My working on the deal might not help his target-related bonus, but as a partner, he'll still take a share of the profit. I despondently trail back to my desk and slump into my chair. Something doesn't feel right. Mr. Ryans seems to resent or even distrust the company he's looking to acquire, yet he isn't interested in due diligence. I shrug. Who am I to complain? I've just been handed potentially one of the biggest opportunities of my junior career. My call app rings through my laptop, and I lunge for my mouse to answer, not knowing how long I've been lost in thought. Miss Heath. I start to babble as quickly as I can. I'm terribly sorry for... But true to form, Mr. Controlling cuts me short. Miss Heath, I only called to... He pauses and clears his throat. To ask that you forward all documentation to myself and Williams in the first instance. Yes, of course. And Mr. Ryans, please forgive me for assuming our scope of work. I was following the usual protocol. I'm more than happy to indulge the sensitivity and intricacies of this deal, and will be sure to do the best job possible for you and Eclectic Technologies. I know that, Miss Heath. It was a pleasure to meet you this morning. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to working with you too, I say sincerely, for some unfathomable reason. This devastatingly attractive man, whom I've known for less than 12 hours, has already shown me numerous sides to his personality. Oh, Mr. Ryans, please call me Scarlett. Scarlett, he repeats. His voice is baritone yet smooth, his mild South African accent intriguing and exotic. I let the sound of him saying my name replay in my mind. To Heath Scarlett, from Ryans Gregory. Sent Tuesday 7th of October 2025, 1736. Subject, future correspondence. Scarlett, thank you for your time today. I've discussed our call very briefly with Williams and Lawrence, and we believe we may move forwards in a more productive and efficient manner if you collate the information you obtain and bring it in person to the office in order for us to discuss it together. Regards, Gregory Ryans, CEO, Eclectic Technologies. Gregory Ryans, I whispered to myself. To Ryans Gregory, from Heath Scarlett, sent Tuesday 7th of October 2025, 1739. Subject, future correspondence. Mr. Ryans, I am happy to progress the matter in the manner preferred by you and your board. I will be in touch as soon as possible with a suitable time, once I have collated sufficient information to make a meeting worth your while. In the meantime, please do not hesitate to contact me should you have any queries. Best regards, Scarlett Heath, Senior Associate, Saunders, Taylor and Chamberlain, LLP. Time's up, let's go! Amanda yells into my office, swinging by one hand on the side of my doorframe. I blush as if I've been caught red-handed doing something abhorrent, but I've no idea why. I reluctantly shut down my computer, but I could really use a drink. Give me 2 minutes. I need to make a quick call home. Amanda is nestled into a burgundy leather booth when I return with a mojito for her and a 1930s Cosmopolitan for me. She looks at home in the chic surroundings of the wine bar. As ever, her auburn hair is flawless, curled at the edges and resting just below her shoulders. Her cream silk camisole looks effortlessly sexy as it flows over her curves and into the top of her ruffled skirt. "Mojito time! Cheers!" she says, taking her cocktail from me and flashing her Hollywood smile. "Nice!" she adds after taking her first gulp. I laugh as she wipes her mouth with the back of her hand and slide into the booth beside her. "Graceful. So, how was the bod on Saturday?" His name was Joshua. I raise a suspicious brow. Was? Amanda's love life, I use the term loosely, is somewhat mercurial. She dates a lot, and there's rarely a keeper. The last one, by Amanda's standards, was months ago, and it never really got out of the blocks to start the race. Tom. A mummies and money boy. A trust fund baby. They made it to 6 dates, and Amanda ate well and for free for 5 consecutive weekends, but ultimately, she drew the line at picnics and polo, and he drew the line at a club until the sun comes up. Was, she confirms. He bought me a nice dinner and I thought I might actually like him. In response to my side-eye, she gives me a shoulder bump. "Hey, I did!" "So, what happened?" "Well, he said he'd go my way in a taxi, to make sure I got home safe. But then he came on to me quite heavy in the cab and was a bit of a prick when I said I'd never put out on the first date. So, I got the taxi driver to pull over outside of some amazing house and watch Joshua drive off. I waited until he was out of sight and jumped in another cab to take me to my flat." She pauses for a sip of mojito and reflects on how little she has left in her glass. "Can I get you ladies another drink?" a waitress asks as she passes our table, a tray held high in her hand. Amanda lifts her empty glass onto the tray. "Please?" I glance at my watch. I can't really stay, Amanda. This will have to be the last. "Okay, last one," she concedes. "How did the big pitch go this morning?" I nod through my Cosmopolitan. "We got the work." "Excellent! Shame you'll have to spend more time under Jack, though." "Less of the under Jack," I say, only half in jest. "Anyway, they've asked me to take the lead on the matter with Jack supervising. It's a really big deal, I think." "Wow, yeah, it is. That's a great opportunity. Is it to save costs, do you think?" "Hey, I didn't mean it like that," she giggles. "Well, actually, yes. But like you say, it's a good opportunity. And the CEO is a bit interesting." "Interesting?" Amanda takes her turn to raise a brow. "Okay, yes, he's extremely hot and must be filthy rich, but that's not what I mean. He's kind of, I don't know, serious and sexy and polite and..." I shrug, genuinely unsure of how I feel about the billionaire CEO. "Somebody like somebody," Amanda purrs. "As if I do. I'd never go there. We can't ever go there. Clients are a strict no-go. Jack would throw me out on my arse." "Yeah, because you chose someone else over his ugly, wrinkling vileness." She shudders for effect. the ultimate dramatic arts prodigy. Amanda, he's my boss. Ugh, another year or so, and maybe I won't have to work in his shadow. Anyway, no, Gregory, Mr. Ryans, is not interesting in a good way, I don't think. Well, if he's a gorgeous billionaire and you're not interested, please send him my way. I'd gladly ruin my career for that. The waitress returns to take our empty glasses, and Amanda settles the bill for the second round of drinks, tapping her smartwatch against the contactless machine. Bear hug and smooches, she demands, then plants a kiss on my cheek and squeezes me as tightly as she can, before she heads in one direction for her bus north to Camden, and I walk in another to catch the Underground to West London. Chapter 3. My excitement builds as I ride the 9 stops home on the tube. I can't wait to see him. I can't wait to hear him say my name and watch his face light up as I read him chapters from his favourite book. In those brief moments, when he remembers, he's my same old comforting, sweet, gentle and polite dad. He can still melt my heart with the twinkle in his eye that he reserves just for me. A jerk of inertia as the tube comes to a stop forces the couple who've been playing tonsil tennis beside me for 20 minutes to come up for air. 2 security men in padded high-vis jackets gawp as I burst from the tube and bound up the steps from the platform to the street. I run along our road and halt in front of our townhouse to catch my breath before pushing through the wrought iron gate and darting up the path to the porch. I fumble trying to place my key in the lock, then throw my bag on the hall table as I practically jump inside. Hi, Sandy! Hello, sweet. How was your day? She asks in her usual sing-song way, always sounding much older than her 42 years. Busy, but good. How's your day been? How's Dad? He's doing well today, she says, helping me out of my Mac and hanging it on the hat stand in the vestibule. He sat in his chair for the best part of the morning. We even managed a game of cards. It's another fleeting and increasingly rare moment of good health and happiness. I know better than to be optimistic, but Sandy still beams with pride, her smile reaching her brown cheeks, her warm eyes glowing. He's been asking for you, she adds. I can't prevent a goofy grin spreading from ear to ear as I kick my shoes off onto the polished rosewood floor. He has. He really has. Today's been the best I've seen him in weeks. She's triumphant, as if an invisible barrier has been crossed. I can't wait to see him. Thank you so much for looking after him so I could have a drink tonight. Don't be silly. You don't need to thank me. It's nice to hear you want to go out. You need to remember you're still you, and you're still young. I should say the same to you. Do you mind if I go straight up to see him? Not at all. Should I heat your dinner, and you can take it up with you? The irresistible scent of Sandy's jerk chicken suddenly fills the air around me, and I realise I'm starving. You're my angel, I say, planting a big kiss on her cheek, causing her to titter and fuss her tightly curled black hair. I'll heat it myself. You put your feet up. I tap my foot on the farmhouse tiles that match the units in the kitchen, willing the microwave to flash my bowl of casserole quicker. Impatient, I open the door before the ping and take the semi-heated bowl upstairs with a freshly baked flatbread, still warm from the oven. Sandy's breads are to die for. His television is playing, the blue light flickering under his bedroom door on the first-floor landing. Opening the door with my elbow, I tentatively step into the room. Dad turns in his bed and gives me a dashing, warm smile. Despite his grey-white hair, he looks youthful, ardent, and delighted to see me. This is what I've been waiting for all day. Neglecting my hunger, I set my supper on his bedside table, my need to hold him overwhelming. He's still beaming at me as I reach down and wrap my arms around him. He holds me tightly, as if he'll never let me go. Don't cry. You'll frighten him. I fight back the rivers building behind my eyes. I know my subconscious is right, so I unravel myself from his tight cocoon and sit into his bedside chair. Martha, I've missed you. The world begins to crumble around me, slowly, excruciatingly slowly. The syllables Martha replay in my mind. My chest tightens and a lump forms in my throat. No, Dad, I choke. I'm Scarlet. Confusion distorts his face. Where's my Martha? I bite down on my bottom lip to steady my wobbling chin as my eyes cloud. It's not his fault, my subconscious reminds me, but I can still be pissed. I yell back at it. Taking a deep breath, I try to rationalize my thoughts. For me, for him. Mum left a long time ago, Dad. I'm Scarlet, your daughter. No! He yells. No! 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 He slaps his hands on the bed. Dad, please, I croak. I'm your daughter. Martha was your wife. Martha was my mother. I want Martha! He screams. His arms move from the bed to me, striking my chest and face. Dad! I plead, grabbing his hands, shocked that he no longer has the strength to fight me. Scarlet! Dr. Heath! My dad stills and looks at Sandy. He's coming back. He moves his gaze to me, and I can no longer bear it. My shoulders shudder as uncontrollable sobbing takes over my body. Sandy, my dad whispers. Yes, sir. Let's get you settled again, shall we? His face changes as his life story untangles in his defective mind. His features contort until he looks pained. He reaches towards me, steadily, a little uncertain. My body, unquestioning, bends to meet him. His damp palm rests on my cheek, and I dissolve into his touch. Dad, I whisper. Scarlet, he croaks. I'm up and dressed early enough to make sure I can have breakfast with Sandy. Is he often like that with you? I ask. She flutters around the kitchen in her peach dress, a beige apron pulled tight at her curvaceous waist, her hair pinned back at the sides just behind her ears, the way she does when she's cooking. She avoids my eyes as she pours milk onto my cereal. I'm so sorry. I will myself not to cry again, but the restless night sleeping at my dad's bedside has left me tired and, if possible, more emotional than usual. I've never been a crier. It's as if all the tears I've never cried have erupted in the last couple of months as I've watched Dad's health deteriorate. Some days, most days, he's barely recognisable. Now, stop that, Sandy says, tenderly brushing an escaped tear from my cheek. Don't give up on him. The whole thing is taking its toll on her too. The image of her standing in the doorway to my dad's room keeps coming back to me. Her eyes were red and swollen. She prepares Dad's pills and sets up his breakfast tray, intentionally keeping her back to me. He's getting worse quickly, isn't he, Sandy? She stops dead still at the breakfast bar, then continues to set out his tray. He still has his moments, she says, turning to me and placing her warm hand on mine. He's a fighter, Scarlet. Sandy, did he do this to you? She pulls her arm from me quickly and wraps her other hand around the plump, marked red skin of her wrist. He gets frustrated, that's all. It's nothing a tough woman like me can't handle. She flashes me a big grin, but her eyes are solemn. He's becoming too much for you. My voice breaks. I know what the next step will be. Sandy, I really appreciate your help. I know Dad does too. He's just not the same anymore, and you're not a nurse. I take a shallow breath. You'll tell me when it's time, won't you? She returns her hand to mine. Dr. Heath is a good man. He's always been good to me, and I'll help him for as long as I can. I love you both more than you could ever imagine. I manage to nod, but my eyes are on fire. Chapter 4. I couldn't be more grateful for the latte Margaret has left on my desk. My eyes are drooping, and my concentration is definitely lacking as my computer fires into life. Amanda bobs into my office, taking off her outdoor coat and draping it over her arm. It was great to have a drink last night, like old times, except we managed to walk home. There was only ever one of us who couldn't walk home. She winks. Anyways, I hope you passed my best to your pops. I did. He said hi. I lie. Such a sweetie. So, like I said, send the CEO's number my way. I scoff through my takeout cup as she strides confidently out of my room. My best friend can always cheer me up. Confirmation lands that the Portman merger has gained clearance by the European competition law authorities. I shoot a quick email to Jack, and almost as soon as it enters my sent items, he's yelling my name. Good work on Portman. Nice to have that one tied up, he says as I step into his office. Oh. Just doing my job, Jack. I give him a wry smile. Is there anything else? No. He waves a hand, signalling for me to leave. Turning on my stiletto heel to exit, I feel his eyes burning into the back of my grey pencil dress. Scarlett. Though I cringe in response to his trying to be smooth voice, I about turn. I like that dress on you. Vomit rises to my throat. Another outfit Jack has successfully banished to the back of my closet. Back at my desk, I open Outlook and calculate the days I think I'll have to wait for my next promotion, the promotion which will hopefully see me escape Jack's close scrutiny. If I do a good job, I could make legal director in 2 years. Now there's an incentive. 365 days, less 28 days annual leave, multiplied by 2, 674 days, my calculator tells me. My momentary contentedness disappears when it occurs to me that in much less than 674 days, I'm likely to be without my dad. That's where playing around and not doing your work will get you. Shaking the thoughts away, I get started on my tasks for today and the rest of the week. Given the tight timings, I'll be working almost exclusively on the Eclectic Technologies deal. Margaret! I call from my office to the secretary's station. She appears at my door, her voluminous grey-blonde hair glued in place just above her shoulders by a can of hairspray, her freshly coated pink lips turned up. Margaret is the kind of well-turned-out lady who'd never be seen in public without her lipstick. What can I get for you? Have my reports come through from Companies House for the Eclectic deal? Companies House is the official registrar for companies incorporated in England and Wales. Reports from the registrar contain all sorts of key information about a company, its shareholders, directors, incorporation date, things like that. Just, she says with an innocently smug smile, handing me the reports, already printed and ring-bound. What would I do without you? Anything else? She asks. Actually, you wouldn't mind getting me another latte, would you? With an extra shot? Not in the slightest. She rotates on her small kitten heel, the ends of her floral dress swaying beneath her tweed jacket. Anais, filling the air as she moves. The rich, indulgent scent of my extra-strong coffee fills the room and makes my mind fresher, sharper, while sifting through the Companies House reports. When I reach the details of Eclectic Technologies directors, I slip off my shoes and roughly pin my hair into a crocodile clip, then pull my legs up to cross them on my chair, settling in for the read. First director, Gregory James Ryans. Date of birth, 9th of the 10th, 1995. Date of appointment, 1st of the 7th, 2020. Associated directorships, GJR Enterprises Incorporated, GJR Europe Limited, Bioenergy Holdings Limited, Sound Telecommunications GmbH, Constant Sources Limited. The list is endless. I do the math and work out that Gregory is 30 in less than a week. Only 30, not even 2 years older than me. Surveying the shareholder details of the GJR companies, I confirmed that he does, in fact, own those too. GJR Enterprises Incorporated and GJR Europe Limited are owned exclusively by Gregory, but he's the majority shareholder in most of the others. Casting my mind to the plaque in the entrance of GJR Tower, it's obvious now that the entire high-rise belongs to him. Outrageously handsome and accomplished. What does a sexy billionaire CEO do to celebrate his 30th birthday? Shaking my head back to reality, my eyes move to the next section of the document. Mr. Williams and Mr. Lawrence. Williams is older than Gregory, 32, and seems to sit on the boards of almost all the same companies as Gregory. In fact, he isn't a director of any company that isn't at least partly owned by Gregory. He has shares in many of those companies too. Lawrence is older, 57, which I'd estimated from his character creases and slightly drooping physique hidden beneath a paisley waistcoat. That and his thick but combed-over hair. Lawrence is a director on a few of the same boards as Gregory, and a non-executive director on many of the others. Usually that would mean he offers guidance to the board as to how to run the company, but doesn't have a right to vote on big decisions the way an executive director can. Unlike Williams, Lawrence is the sole shareholder of another company, Connections Limited. I wonder whether Gregory knows this about one of his closest confidants, but as I delve into the ownership of Sea People International Incorporated, the company Eclectic Technologies is taking over, I realise that Gregory must know. Sea People International Incorporated just happens to be majority owned by Connections Limited, meaning, in effect, it is majority owned by Lawrence. As usual, the intricate links between the companies seem more comprehensible when I sketch them in a diagram. As I draw the tangled web of companies, directors and shareholders, the attachments become easier to follow, but there's one question playing on my mind. Why wouldn't they have mentioned that Eclectic Technologies is buying a company that Lawrence partly owns? I think about picking up the phone and asking the question, but Gregory is a busy man, and from what I've seen, I imagine he's very much in control of what happens beneath him, under him, in his companies.